Hey guys, I'm the NFL Addict and welcome back to the NFL Beans, which is my NFL news show where I spill the beans on what's going on around the NFL. So starting off, as you saw by the thumbnail on the title, we have more Eagles news, and that is that the Eagles have released their veteran wide receiver DeSean Jackson, and knowing that they have saved themselves $5 million, and they basically they need to start saving themselves a lot of money because they have the second worst cap depth, at least at the beginning of this offseason. They haven't checked recently, which is probably a bad thing, but not too many. Like, I didn't feel like I needed to because not too many people are making that big of moves just yet. But yeah, what we're seeing right now, this could surprise you because DeSean Jackson, he was a pretty good wide receiver last year. Now he's had some injury issues. Obviously, he's getting older too, so his production has gone down. So it makes sense that they've released him as he's getting out of. Well, he's been out of his prime, but as he's starting to go into his old wide receiver who can't do much phase. But also what we're seeing is they got rid of Carson Wentz, and now they're getting rid of DeSean Jackson. And it looks to me like they are fully prepared. This new head coach and this whole new staff that we're seeing being put in there, they fired their head coach. They got a new offensive coordinator, and they got rid of Carson Wentz, their starting quarterback for the past 4 years. Then they cut one of their better wide receivers. It looks to me like the Eagles are preparing for a rebuild. Now they do still have Jalen Hurts, so what I'm thinking is that they're hoping to cut as much extra weight as they can, keep Jalen Hurts on there, and make their rebuild around him. I think that's the best thing for them to do, especially looking at the two young teams you've got in the Giants and Washington, and also last year the NFC East was the worst, but the next couple of years they're looking like they could explode. The Cowboys, the Giants, and Washington all look like they have a lot of talent. They have some pretty good young teams, so the Eagles need to start competing with that. So what I'm thinking that they're trying to do is they're probably going to keep Jalen Hurts on there. I mean, obviously, I don't see any reason why they would get rid of him, and they're probably going to try to build around him this offseason. Probably, we've seen some offensive moves happening. Obviously, they cut with DeSean Jackson, sorry, my bad. And they also got rid of Carson Wentz. So I think they're getting ready to do a complete offensive rebuild and try to get their offense prepped to go into the next season and maybe get themselves to the top of the NFC East. Because while the NFC East is going to be good in the next couple of years, they are still full of teams that went 7-9, 6-10, 6-10, and 4-11-1. So it's not like you're going to see them have over 10 wins. That's not going to happen, but yeah, so the Eagles preparing for a rebuild and or trying to stay out of it. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not part of the Eagles organization, but it looks to me like they are going to try to build around Jalen Hurts this offseason. Next up, more Panthers news. The Panthers have released the veteran safety Trey Boston. He's been with them for 6 years, and this is following the trend of, obviously we saw Kawan Short, and also last year they drafted, their whole draft was all defensive players. They are ready. They're trying to get a very young defense. This is very obvious. They had one last year. They got rid of Kawan Short, who'd been with them for 8 years, and they got rid of Trey Boston, who had been with them for 6 years. So right now, I think they're trying to get a young team. They're trying to build up that defense to try to supplement their pretty bad offense, really, as we saw most of the season. They also cut their punter, Mike Palardy. He was injured all last season, so I guess they decided they just wanted to get rid of him anyways. So, that's not that much of a big surprise. And the last thing, I'm not really going to go too in-depth, but the Falcons have released safety Ricardo Allen and defensive end Allen Bailey. And I know what you're thinking. What's the deal with all these releases? I'm done. That's all I had. Why are teams just releasing? Because what we're seeing right now is at the start, we saw a lot of teams hiring coaches, like offensive coordinators. Basically, that was the first stage of our offseason, is whenever teams are getting their front office all situated. But now, with free agency approaching pretty fast, free agency I think is in a month, really, teams are cutting, teams are trying to get their cap in a good place because teams are prepared to make a push. Also, something I forgot to mention, I feel like the Panthers, cutting all these people, saving all this money, I feel like they could go after they could be pretty prepared to make a big signing, so be looking out for that. But also, it's actually, I'm getting kind of excited with all these teams releasing a lot of players and trying to figure out their cap space, how to figure out what they need for this free agency. I honestly feel like that pretty soon. It's just obviously it's pretty soon, but it basically signifies the fact that free agency is coming very quickly. So, before I send you off, I just wanted to go ahead and address the fact that I haven't made. I've been doing NFL Beans basically for the past couple of weeks. That's it. And I wanted to just basically say that my computer that I normally would do videos on is not working right now. I'm trying to get that figured out. It's a very old computer, and I can't really afford to get another one, obviously. I mean, look at me. Do I look like I have a job? So, yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. This has been the NFL Beans episode number 30. I hope to see you in episode number 31. Goodbye.